Good evening, welcome to WooTube. My name's Balram Woo, and today my microphone appears to be a bit quiet. But if I move it, it's going to make a ton of noise. I'm gonna mute it and move it. And it's as if no one knew. Still seems weird, right? On my end, it seems weird. I don't know what I've done. Like, honestly, you have Brandon on for one episode and your entire stuff goes to pot. Hello, Kakis Glab. How are you doing today? Okay, so today I have a plan for what we're gonna do. What I'm gonna do. I'm not really gonna. Well, we'll talk about the ban list very minorly, but about 10 gajillion people have already talked about the ban list so far. Oh, this is in shot now. That's not good. Still in shot, isn't it? It's just there. I can see it. Hey. So I'm not really going to talk about this. I am Kakastab. I'm trying to build decks for Danish Nats. Not good decks, just some silly stuff. I would hope so with the with your usual style. I know you like to play fun cards, interesting cards. Do you have like do you think you have IDs sorted or like archetype sorted that you're considering? Because I'm happy to shout out some bad suggestions for things that you could add in. Also, how many climactic showdowns are in your runner deck is what mainly everyone wants to know. So yes, we have plans for today, but I also just wanted to point out a few pretty interesting decks, all from Scottish regionals, and all of them are purple. Orb and Ari, not the normal decks. There. I don't even know what the normal. Yeah, I don't think you can play Climactic Showdown in Ari. Okay, well, I've got some ideas for non-normal Ari. I don't even know what normal Ari is anymore, because for a while it's been World Tree Ari, but obviously like that's probably not your plan. I'm obviously loving Prognostic Q-Loop Ari at the moment. That's very fun. So, a few things which came from Scottish Nationals, not Nationals, Regionals. Number one was this deck, which kind of really reminds me of this thing which I was doing with Fule when it first came out. But instead of using pings, I was using Funhouse. But there's no chance that that's a good idea right now because Funhouse is a card that sucks so hard due to Entangler being around. Like that is a very, very bad res. When there's even a chance that there's Entangler in decks. It's also a bad res into Ice Destruction. Sorry. So I hate the idea of doing this with Funhouse, but this deck was doing it with pings. So the idea is that you're like resing a ping while they're running through your server, and then if they continue through, they hit a Mr. Hendrick and have to lose all their turn, and they end up with a tag, and then you hypoxy them. Maybe you hypoxy them end of the line with them, and if not, then they have to like jack out, and they have to run back, and they also have to clear the tag, and so basically you're pretty good in terms of landing like core damage either via Mr. Hendrick or via ping. Ping is also much cheaper to res, which was the big problem with the with my version of this deck, which was on Funhouse, because Funhouse is a terrible res most of the time. And then obviously this one's got the kind of genius of being on Stegodon. So you've got this eternal like flipping up and down of the pings. You can also flip them back down with Elvigar Bifurcation. It kind of makes me wonder whether you want like a cheeky Brasilia government grid in here to put on centrals. You've got Gypstads for the remote, which makes sense. They have to run these. Like they have to like deal with your remote. They can't just like go one way. But this is quite cool in a horrible sort of way. I think I would be tempted to put in Greasing the Palms over either the Nikos or the Regoliths. Because if you stick a ping tag, then you might be able to like fast advance out of Stegodon pretty cheap, which seems cool. So that's interesting. This didn't do too well, but they've only just been playing the game like 6 months, I think. So this is like one of the first decks they've put out. But I think there's some really interesting like ideas at work here. Now, interestingly, another deck which did well at Scottish Nationals was this deck that did do well at Scottish Nationals was another purple deck. This one was Sports Medal. Again, it's on 3 pings. This one with like Warm Receptions as your way of de-resing them, and also Stegodons. And this one is running 3 times Greasing the Palms. And really, Greasing the Palm is the only like reason for the tags here, unless I'm missing something massively. I mean, you can trash their stuff, obviously. But that's a pretty cool way of like Greasing the Palm. You can score out every single one of these apart from the Ikawas with like a Greasing the Palm tag, and you can do that without like spending much money. This is credit positive in Sports Metal, I think, because you gain like net 2 with an advancement. No, and then you advance twice, and then you'd gain 2. So it's actually completely neutral to score out. So that's like a cool idea. It's running fully operational, which is kind of wild, but makes sense with this sort of deck. Also, like you're only ever probably putting one ice in front of a load of his stuff. And then if it's like an ablative barrier or a ping, you can de-res it and do some stuff there. So that's also quite cool. Again, running Stegodon. Maybe I already said that. And then this came third. And then second was this Mirror Morph deck. And I'm always happy when a Mirror Morph deck does well, just because I really like Mirror Morph. It's a fun ID. Or it's a fun ID when like you're not running into Alpi playing it. No offense, Alpi. Oh my word, I die when I'm playing against Prism Mirror Morph. Quite a lot inside. This is like kind of MCA. Like that's its game plan. It's MCA. It's got Restore and MCA. It's got Warroid trackers for the MCA to sit on, so it's annoying to trash. And then you fast advance out either Vitruvius's or 5/3s. Done. Pretty simple. I'm surprised that there's no Hollow Man here, but then I guess it's only really good with the like Vitruvius, the Vitruvii. Although you can fast advance a 5/3 with a Hollow Man, but also with an Audacity. I guess you don't quite have the influence. You'll need to cut a Spin Doctor and take the Charlotte out, and then you can put in a Hollow Man. But your digital life is cool in Mirror Morph, especially when you got Calvin Bailey. You can often draw, like you could click Calvin to draw. You can draw a card. You can play your digital life. You gain a load of money, and you can still like jam. But this did really well. Apparently, MCA is good enough right now. And it might well be, especially with Restore. Like, if you can just get this kind of MCA lock going with some Warroid trackers behind a couple of pieces of ice, it's really good against like a load of decks which are trying to deep dive you at the moment. So I can kind of see this. And yeah, I just thought they were like 3 very different to what we would usually see purple decks, which seem to kind of conglomerate in Scottish regionals. Right, my plan for today is a very specific plan because I am going to be playing an Eternal match against Augustus Ceasar shortly, and I'm going to get Augustus on. Maybe we'll chat a little bit about the ban list when I get him on. But I need to build my runner deck because I want to build an Eternal World Tree deck. Now, I've been messing around with an Eternal World Tree deck in Woo, but I actually want to put it into Arasana. Hey, David. Because I'm now so used to playing like World Tree and Arasana that I actually feel like it might, even with the like the fact that Wu can do stuff like the consistency is insane. I wonder whether it's actually better in Arasana. And being as I'm not going to be able to play World Tree in Standard anymore, not that I was playing it very much as it was. I had sort of, I don't know, I wasn't having, I didn't find it particularly fun to play. I found it very, very strong to play. So I might have played it at like really big events. Like if I was going to Worlds, then I probably would have been grinding World Tree. But the thing I found fun about World Tree was the building of it. And it kind of got, like, there were some different builds floating around. We'd kind of got to a point where the best sort of builds had kind of been found. Even though lots of people were experimenting with new stuff. But what hasn't really been explored is how can I do it? Oh yeah, there we go. All, and then I just take out salvage memories and NAPD and terminal directive campaign, and then we should be good. So what I haven't really seen is World Tree Arasana in Eternal. So that's what we're going to try and build. We've got about 20 minutes to build an Eternal Arasana deck, which is going to be World Tree, so it could potentially be bigger than 45 cards, obviously. That is going to beat whatever Augustus is going to play into us, and I have no idea what he's going to play into us. Now, the first question is, what is our console, and is it Ceasar? And I think it might be Ceasar, because then we can play Parasite, and then we kind of don't have to worry about Ice. The other option is actually maybe to play Endurance, just so that we, again, kind of don't have to worry about Ice. But Endurance has normally been incorrect in Eternal. It's very expensive to get down, and you want like something a bit leaner and meaner. Although ironically not lean and mean. But if we play Ceasar, we can play Parasite, and then we've got like recursion coming out of Wazoo for Parasites. So I think that's probably fine. So we can play one Ceasar. One is probably enough. We can play one Parasite. That's like pretty core engine. Ceasar is some amount of Eternal points. I might have to pull up the old Null Signal Games website so that I can check Eternal points here. Eternal points list. Ceasar is 2 points, so we've used up 2 points. The rest of our points, now this is very easy because we're Shaper, so we can actually spend an absolute ton. We can play Temi J's and like recur them over and over again. Temujin is really like busted in World Tree decks, but we're probably going to need to spend our influence on other stuff. So it might well just be like we either do play Employee Strike or we play like Aaron Moran is a really good option. Hyperdriver is sick even just as a like setup card. Oh, and Film Critic. We're definitely playing Film Critic because it's a cheap resource and it deals with a whole load of stuff very well. So we'll play Film Critic. We might play Aaron Moran because he's like pretty good. We'll play like 2 World Trees. We'll see if we can cut it down. We're going to play 3 copies of Muse before like anything else. We need ways of getting out the World Tree, so that's going to be free crowdfunding. Like, crowdfunding would be fun, but I feel like we're not going to have the influence for it. Hey, Gold Lava. As much as like it would be sick. Weirdly enough, we might play 1 crowdfunding. Like, how stupid does that sound? But like, could be correct if we can just keep getting it back. It's whether we can make 3 runs a turn is like the interesting thing. Let's work out how we're getting our tree out. So we're getting our tree out using some combination of Muse, self-modifying code, And then like we could be on, if we're going to keep like to like 45, 50, maybe 55 cards, we could play 3 copies of StimHack and just StimHack it out. Because that's like pretty effective. Or we could play like Trick Shot and Overclock, which are okay, but then they're certainly not as good. We'll think about these stim hacks in a second. A couple of other things that we definitely need to be on. We need to be on Clot, because this is Eternal, and that deals with a good few things. We need to be on some tech to stop us just dying, and I think actually Plascrete might be an option here. And like we could play not Net Shield. What do I want? What's the one that stops? It's a hardware and it stops net damage. I think I've got it in here. Feedback filter. We could play this. It's pretty expensive though. Maybe we don't have to worry about net damage. We probably do, but I don't think we can pay 3 credits a turn to deal with it. What are we doing for money? Are we playing Aesops? Maybe. Like, we might play Aesops. Cypher is 2 MUs, so it kind of deals with our MU situation. For draw, we don't get Lilypad draw, which is a problem. We could play Reaver. That's like that's like good draw. But it is 4 MU. But we can sometimes draw on the corpse turn with it. Before I do anything else, we're going to put in 3 Simmel chips and 3 clone chips, because then we don't care about, like, these are also, this is the best thing here, we've got 6 1-cost hardware, which are also excellent things to turn into our Cypher. We might play like either a Leprechaun or a Degdeer for MU, preferably putting the tree on it at some point. Probably a Leprechaun. Just 1 should be fine. That means we could play Hyperdrivers if we want to. We're going to like maybe run out of space, but we'll see. We need other ways of dealing with ice. This is a problem which I had previously with my Wu deck. So we'll play like 1 for Salem Entangler. We'll play 1 Slap Vandal because it deals with so many things in... Like, this deals with a lot of ice in Eternal. 1 Hush. That deals with a lot of other ice in Eternal. And then like a Propeller. And then that plus Siphocyte probably deals with all the ice we need to deal with. What's our win con? We're probably not deep diving here. So maybe we're on medium. Then we can play like medium plus trick shot. That seems quite rude. That does seem quite rude. Medium. So now we need to think about influence. Because we probably are going to be on Coalescence here. But like the other option is to swap these stim hacks for the criminal virus cash. Because that we can like install during a run, take the money off it, turn it into something else. Is this more money than Coalescence? It's exactly the same amount of money as Coalescence. It's interesting. So I guess we play free coalescence before. It's like one cheaper to install. Okay. We've got a lot of programs. We have 1 to influence console right now. Is that going to be enough? To MU console. Is that going to be enough for MU? We could play some Akamatsu mem chips. We've also got a leprechaun, but only one of them. Maybe we play like... I'm worried about MU. I'm going to play 1 Akamatsu. Or we could play the big one. Is this worth it? Like we can tree this out. Because then we only wasn't there another one as well? Cyber. Oh no, that is the one I'm thinking of. There's no other really good MU. Like I think Leprechaun is potentially the best thing that we've got going on. I guess instead of medium, we could play. Whatchamacallit? Keyhole. We could play Keyhole, and then we could play... Whatchamacallit? Keyhole and Hyperdriver? And we go all rotage on his ass? Replicator is potentially hilariously good in this deck. That's really funny. I'm trying to think if there. I thought there was another. Maybe I am just thinking of this one here. Cyber Solutions mem chip. 4 credits for 2 influence for 2 MU. I think we just put in an Akamatsu and we'll be fine. We might well put in levies in a second. We need some upfront money. Instead of Simhack, we could play Peace in Our Time. Is that a terrible idea? Can't run with Peace in Our Time. Taking a brain damage is potentially risky. I'll leave 1 stim hack in for now and see if we can find the influence. Because it is kind of busted. I think we're going to need Aesop's. Is medium free influence better than conduit? It is if we're going to be on trick shot. Like the fact... I guess it only is if we have other run events as well. So maybe not. But we could always be really rude and play a medium and a conduit. Is that stupid? Probably. But then every time you conduit, medium's gonna tick up as well. There's a good chance that that Keyhole's a better option. But maybe it's a bit slow. This is 2 MU, so we'd need to sit this on a Leprechaun. Make a run on R&D if successful. Instead of accessing cards, look at the top 3 cards and trash one at no cost. We might want to be on Imp as well. I think I feel like we're gonna need some Aesops to go but then what are we really Aesopsing here? Are we putting in we could just put in a ton of programs. We can put in as in cheap. We can put in free cash, free coalescence, and free of the other one, the Apex one. What's the Apex one? Not that. Free Harbingers. We can put in free Harbingers, free cash, and free coalescence. And then we have absolutely like so much to sell. Salwen, Wu possibly is the better ID. Like, it's a more consistent ID. But I played last week. I played Eternal World Tree Wu against Jeff, and I actually really missed like the options which I had with Arasana. I always felt like I could just faceplant stuff with Arasana, and I probably had a way to get through it. And with Wu, you kind of have to get stuff out first. Like, you can always get a Mayfly out. Like, they just appear out of your deck. But it just felt a little less interactive than I wanted it to be. So I want to see how it feels doing that nonsense, but in Arasana. Wu can't come back because of Coalescence and Muse. I don't think that Coalescence is as much of an issue as much as people will tell you ways to like click for like instant click for free credits button, which it is. And then if you've like also got Specworks in your deck, then like you're also then like gaining another 2 and drawing 2 cards. But that's like, oh, you can only do that 3 times a game. I don't think it's Coalescence. I think it is Muse. Muse is potentially a really big issue with Wu because it's a 1 cost tutor / Simmel chip, like tutor from anywhere in your sodding deck at any point in the game. Like, that's very, very powerful. So I kind of think that Muse is definitely the issue in my opinion. Like, Coalescence is not. Like, Coalescence is cool. Like, it's a nice little thing. You can certainly build Wu around that. But unless you're using it with Specworks or you're using it for like Simmel chip fodder or you're doing something along those lines, then I don't think that the whole like Wu can woo out a Coalescence at any point is strong enough to be like, you can't bring Wu back because of this. Coalescence is an issue. Right, we need like ways to deal with all the disgusting things which the corps are going to try and do with us. So we're playing like we might be on like Burners. Like, Burner's probably a really good card in Eternal. I haven't really tried it in Eternal since it came out. So maybe we do like Burner. We might be on Cataloger, you know. That can't be correct with... it might be correct. This medium influence we could spend on something else. And I am wondering about spending it all on, like, other programs that we can, like Harbingers and Caches. And then we just, like, get our Aesop's engine up and going. But we do want to be able to win very, very fast. And the best way for that probably is for us to swap out this medium for a keyhole. And then we can play hyperdrivers. And we've got like hyperdriver on Leprechaun along with the keyhole on the Leprechaun. And then we smash R&D like a ton of times to get through. And then we go back and do it again. That's going to be our like win con. Our win con is going to be keyhole. Just to be clear, he says hi and isn't watching. Augustus hopefully isn't watching. I don't believe he is. Right, if this is keyhole, then we can't play. Yes, you're saying Grim. We are eternal crafting. I wanna see after our game with like me playing World Tree Woo into you last week, which didn't feel great, but I think I had massively... I tried to cut down a very big deck, and I think I cut out a lot of very important parts of it. But I also didn't feel like... I'm so used to playing World Tree out of Arasana, but playing it out of Woo all of a sudden felt weird and hard. So I want to put it back in Woo and see what happens then. We might be on... Yeah, it had a very different tempo, and I want to just be able to like run. I want to be able to like run all the time. I'm going to put in Nukers because the draw's really good and we can sell them for stuff. And then we still have this free influence, which either becomes Cash or Harbingers. Maybe we don't need the Aesops. Maybe Aesops is wrong. Can I drop an influence to play Reaver? If so, it would have to be... If Hush is the only thing that can go. And that feels... It feels so good against... Well, I guess... Okay, let me think about this. So it's really good against things like Tour Guide, which we already destroy. Maybe we're just fine. We've got Cipher and we got Cipher Sight, right? So we can play a Harbinger, and that's our like draw. Not Harbinger, Reaver, and that is our draw engine. Oh, not three of them. We could also play a DreamNet. That's a pretty good. That's Dream. Is it because it's banned? It is because it's banned. DreamNet. We'll play one of those. Do we want to play... Okay, we still need... Okay, so now we've taken this... We've taken the stim hacks out. So we probably need to put in like Overclock and Trick Shot to get our shit off the ground. Overclock, Trick Shot. I think I keep the burners because I think like that's our they're potentially very strong. And then we're up to 45 cards. I'm happy to go a little bit further. Do we need... Oh, now we do need more money because I got rid of the Aesops. So it could be like environmental testings, because I think we can probably pop one of those off pretty quick. Am I like missing anything really, really good? Like I probably need a few more events. It's just daily cast is like too slow. Or instead of these Reavers, we put in two. Might not have points for that. I was going to say we could put in 2 copies of Temujin. I'd play something else over Revolver. We don't have Revolver. We've got Reaver. Do you mean Reaver? Yeah, I was thinking about caches. I was thinking about playing like free cache and free Harbinger, and then playing Aesops and you like Aesops and World Tree, which I still quite like. I like that idea, but we need to like drop a ton of influence to do that. Like we could take out the keyhole and win from scoring agendas off like off massive conduit digs. I just feel like keyhole's probably better unless we're against like IG or something. Keyhole still wins from scoring. Yeah, so maybe in which case may... Does it help against IG? Do we not, like, lose cards to this? Because this is... Like, if they've got a hostile infrastructure on board or whatever it is, do we not, like, just die every time we keyhole? Or is that not how that works? I thought that was how that works, because we're trashing stuff. Either that, or is there any other win con? Like, I've always just done, like, deep dive, because I think it's a ridiculously good win con in Eternal. But you want to be like firing off deep dives by turn 4. We haven't even got a boat. We haven't even really got a way of dealing with assets here. So maybe Reaver has to go. I guess we can play a Parisia. That's like fine. Our draw is definitely lacking. Like, we do not have enough draw. So it's like we can play diesels, which are fine. I guess we got Reaver. So we got Reaver. We might want to also play one copy of... It did absolutely nothing against Jeff, but we could play one copy of Satcon, or multiple copies of Satcon, to deal with the whole, like, clot situation. But then again, we have got 6 simul-chips and things. Collective consciousness, this one. Draw 1 card whenever the corp reses a piece of ice. No. If that's the one you mean, definitely, I think no. I think that's pretty especially terrible in Eternal. Hey, Syndrin. Okay, so we can take out the Keyhole. Give ourselves 3 more influence. We could take out the Reaver, but that's like a good draw engine, but maybe we've got perfectly fine draw engines that we don't need the Reaver. Like, maybe we should just find other draw engines, for example. Like, we could play Patron, right? This is a free cost thing, which we want to make runs. That's... I mean, yeah, you know. I wonder if Endurance... Yeah, Endurance... I did talk about Endurance. I did consider it. Like, maybe... But if we want to hammer R&D, yeah, exactly, Syndra, that is 100% what we're doing. If we want to hammer R&D, then I feel like Cipher plus Parasite is better, because Endurance is like we're gonna get through R&D like once or twice a turn. But if there's an ice there that we need to keep breaking, maybe the Thessalem can go. If we don't find our Cipher, we're screwed. But we could get rid of the Thessalem. So then we could get rid of the Thessalem, get rid of the Reaver, get all of our like caches and harbingers back in, put in 3 Aesops, and put in some more draw, and then we're like good to go, right? Is there any really busted? Oh, we can play Laguna. Like, surely that's the most busted draw that we can play. We could use Brahmin and Cipher as our AI tool. I mean, now you're fucking talking, Jeff. Like, you know that I love Brahmin decks. And like, if we can Brahmin Coalescence this shit, like, to death. This is like not the world's worst breaker. Kind of want prog Q loop though, if we're gonna do Brahmin, so that we can get the stuff back out. And we're still not like, I still don't think we can go through stuff like a ton. Oh, are we going to have a problem with... Okay, so we won't have a problem with it as long as we put a hush back in. Because I was going to say we're going to have a problem with architect, maybe. But if we drop the entangler and we put in a hush, then that deals with architect. And then I think I'm going to go back. Like, I think we drop the Reaver because it's going to take up MU. We put back in cache. Oh, although we've still got the keyhole. So we could go, so if the keyhole goes... So if the keyhole goes and we go to conduit, we can play 2 Harbingers and a Reaver still? Harbinger and a Reaver. Okay, 52 cards. It's fine. I think we can go as far as 55 before I start, like, panicking. Although I'm about to add 3 diesels, right? Or is Laguna better? We do Laguna. Like, we've got Burner to slow the corp down. We've got Overclock and Trick Shots to... Oh, now I need to put in the Aesops. Oh, now we're getting big. 56. I guess we can drop a Nuka, because once we've got Laguna, Nuka is worthless. We've also got Reaver now back in, so, like, that's surely fantastic. Yeah, we drop 1 card here, which is like a Nuka. And then how are we winning? We're winning using... Let's just check we put our win con in. Yeah, we're winning using Conduit. That is our win con. It's not a very strong win con for Eternal. But we're going to see what happens. Do we have enough nonsense ways of dealing with stuff? Like, we have 1 Slap Vandal, we have 1 Parasite, 3 Muse, and then the rest of it is all the, like, clone chips and simul chips. So we need to draw into clone chips and simul chips. We might need a DJ. No, DJ is way too slow. Like, we're probably better off playing, like, a Levy. Like, we might do Levy. This is draw. This is draw. This is draw. This is draw. Plascrete is our 1 bit of tech which is going to stop us dying, hopefully. Clot is our 1 bit of tech which is going to stop us getting fast advanced out on. We don't have... I'd love a 2nd film critic so that we can, like, check IG's archives without it being an issue. That would be quite nice. Maybe 2 burner is fine. There we go. That seems like a deck. No idea if this has enough, like, money to get off the ground. We're gonna find out. Eternal World Tree Arisana. Right. Let's give... I recognize that screen name. Hello, Not Yeti. How are we doing? Let's give Augustus a ring. Get him on. Get him on the air and see what happens. Kind of ran, definitely perved. Good evening, Augustus Ceasar.
It's me.
Ah, fantastic. Look at that. Like, no technical issues tonight. How are you doing today?
Woo! Hype for no technical issues. Yeah, I just flew back from Scotland, where I had a blast.
Ah, yeah, we were just talking about there was some really wild purple decks up in Scotland. Like we've
Yeah.
already noted three of them. Um, so
Um, I
yeah,
played against the Mirror Morph that was doing some shenanigans. I don't know if that's public, what the
yeah,
list
I
is.
think that's Dan's deck, right? Strong Goose.
Yeah,
Yeah. He posted that today, and I noticed your note saying that I think you ran into like MCA into MIC like turn
oh,
one, and then just basically lost all of your tempo, and
yeah,
then
that was
ran in
not a
next
fun
time.
turn one.
No, that sounds like a horrendous turn one. It's essentially not a turn one. You've just not had a turn.
Yup.
That
Um,
that sounds like it sucks. Um,
did deny me the top cut that game, but I still stole a playmat. So
yeah, I was
that
gonna say you don't need to top cut another one, especially not Sheffield. I think in fact at Sheffield, in fact, are you going to Sheffield? Maybe you're not going to Sheffield.
no, I'm going to Cambridge next, and then
Yes, maybe I've got a chance in Sheffield.
hey,
Um, yeah. Oh, Cambridge should be a ton of fun. We do have a very certain Cambridgeite, well, technically Norwichite on in chat right now. Um,
who?
well, I am pretty sure that he's not a Yeti, although uh, although Andre is pretty sure he is a Yeti. So
Ooh.
I don't even know.
Is there a conspiracy there that we can maybe unravel?
Yeah, I think we should definitely try to. Jeff is also in chat. Jeff has built my Arasana deck, my Eternal Arasana deck for tonight. So if it doesn't work, this is 100% a Jeff build. I had nothing to do with it. Let's make that very clear.
That's obviously what was working.
He's asking if either of us are going to Worlds, to which I can say, unfortunately, I am not. But I can't remember if you were or not.
I will be going to Worlds yet.
Amazing. Um, when are you heading out there? Are you going for a like bit of extra time, or are you just like
Yeah,
for the weekend?
I'll definitely be there on the Friday for the team event.
Oh
So
yeah, obviously, obviously,
uh,
obviously.
I think I'm also there Thursday. I'll double check. Um, I have a lot of holiday plans that I need to get to straighten out together.
Gotcha. So very quickly before we jump into some games, let's get your quick thoughts on the all-encompassing ban list which we had. What do you make of the banning of Weltree and the banning, or more importantly, maybe the banning of nothing else? How do you feel?
Well, I am slightly sad about the World Tree ban because it doesn't mean I get a free Worlds win, but I was expecting it. Um, and banning of nothing else, I think that was the most likely outcome for me, like going into it. It's just difficult to ban out shapers at the moment. Like anything you do is going to be a bit unorthodox. Um, like I think the SMC ban would have been really like a real cataclysm for the faction. So I'm glad they didn't do that. There were other options that were sensible, but maybe like still risky.
Yeah, I
Um,
I don't know. I was kind of down with the SMC ban. That was my like, if you're not gonna ban World Tree, I think this is the card you should ban.
oh
Like
yeah,
like take.
but,
And I'd have kind of been interested in that. I think
like
it
there's no
would have
real
probably
difference
not.
between banning SMC and banning World Tree for the deck. Like World Tree is effectively not a thing if you ban SMC. But also,
I will obviously disagree with that, but that's because I've managed to make World Tree work using test run and
yeah,
rejigs and that kind of thing, and I think that's still like
you
still
know what?
there.
Like if the rest of the Shaper faction loses SMC, that deck might have actually been the best. So I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Um, But I'm not
Jeff
sure. I'm like, that deck
Jeff's
would be
also
really good.
saying that SMC ban is something we're both okay with because we play too much Ari, and I think that might be it. It's like my current Ari deck has 3 Mews and 1 SMC, and the SMC is kind of only there in case I need to find a propeller. Like I could take it out and I'd be perfectly happy, you know. So
Yeah, like Ari definitely would survive an SMC ban, but like any other type of non-kit shaper wouldn't. I don't think.
yeah,
Which I don't think would be good for the meta. I think you can let shapers have a bit of fun.
yeah. I mean that's my reason for not wanting the trick shot ban, which everyone else has called for. It's like, yeah, trick shot is very very strong, and the sky is falling in because of it. But that's the same thing that everyone said about bravado. It's the same thing that everyone said about boomerang. It's like it's happened every single time. There's like a very strong card, and like this is nonsense. Um, it's too powerful, and like it'll feel that way for 6 months, and then everyone will just be a bit more used to playing around it. And I also like the fact that right now you should be icing R&D like turn one against Shaper. That always used to be the case, and then they took away indexing, and no one gave a shit until now. Like you just leave all of your centrals open because why bother? And I like the fact that you can't do that, and Trickshot has meant you can't do that. So I'm down with it for that reason.
Yeah, the one thing that is a bit unfortunate is that like I that is from my feeling, it's this still leaves Corpse very behind on like over uh, like average power level, I guess. So like finding a corp that does stuff is still a struggle. But
I mean,
there wasn't anything really that the like any obvious bans that would have solved that problem. So it's
I
just a thing
mean,
you have to adapt to now.
you say that, um, but Corps are ahead of runners right now, and have been like for the whole past meta of since the last ban list.
Yeah, like I think like the actual corp numbers that we see are like much significantly lower than like previous metas. I think right. Like I would expect the default corp win rate to be at 55, and it's been at 50 plus slightly.
Okay. Jeff also
More
says
lately.
that he thinks the data is being a bit deceptive, so I will not read too much into that.
Yeah, like from a game field perspective, whenever I get a win a score, I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely scammed that one very well,
Yeah.
rather than my game plan was powerful and unstoppable. You know. But the like corps are pretty good at just like taking games like from with like mind games or hidden information, so they can still they're still not like they you can't guarantee wins with corps, right? That's why they feel a bit weaker,
Yeah.
but you can still get win.
Meteor brings up the fact that Fasalem didn't even get mentioned, which is interesting because I think it's I don't know I think it's a card which has kind of hidden in the shadow of Trickshot because everyone thinks that Trickshot is the real evil, but Fasalem turns off so much ice completely that it's incredible that it hasn't. I don't know. I find it interesting that not more people are up in arms about Fasalem because
Yeah, I mean, you could have hit Fizarum instead of Ari, but like I think Fizarum as a fair card in a normal Ari, like Fizarum is like currently the strength of Ari, right?
yeah.
Which I think is a good place for it to be. Like Ari has this like way of ignoring your ice, which feels on theme, and it like Ari, even with that power, isn't completely blowing everyone out of the water. Now that World Tree's banned.
That's fair. Cold Lava saying that Lat doesn't play it. Although I thought Lat was like I thought who was playing it in Lat? Was it either Soccer or Bridgman had
I
Versaliums
think
in Lat?
Bridgman was on two of them. I don't think the card was like a powerhouse of the deck, and it might have gotten cut at some point, but it was getting played.
Fair. Um, nice. Okay. Well, and then I think like everyone found pretty interesting the mention of Gold Farmer. Um, what's your take on Gold Farmer as a card which was considered as like, could it come back? And they decided not to bring it back.
I was not surprised because I've been around a bunch of the people that have been pushing for that, and I think it would be reasonable. Like I think there was the mention of a triple gold farmer ag infusion, which I'm not sure that would be the problem with it. Like the ag infusion already wants to spend a bunch of money on Bran, which is like the best barrier. So I'm not sure it would like benefit that much from adding a slightly less taxing than Bran ice.
That's pretty fair
But
because Gold Farmer's free influence as well, right? So like, are you gonna play like free Bran, or would you play free Gold Farmer? Because I would prefer the Brands because that first subroutine is so good in
I would not think of cutting a single Bran, but the deck has enough influence to play both if slots permit it. But,
yeah.
um,
I mean,
uh,
my one thing is that I think that currently, and maybe it's only my idea that like, well, this is currently defined fine. Currently, there's a lot of very good ways to deal with Gold Farmer very easily, i.e., the crew eats it alive, and you do have Hush as another option. Now, if you're playing free Gold Farmer, I guess that makes Hush like less of an option. And you know, is it really that like? Is it even that bad? Yeah, maybe it is bad to have an ice that will cost you 4 no matter what. But it's like
well, it's kind of nice that the other barrier breaker outside of Cleaver is Kurapira, which also like theoretically breaks it for like 3 ice if you run through it 4 times.
That is true.
But Crims can't afford to run it 4 times, so in practice that won't be the case until like Crim gets economy.
Yeah,
so it might be something to look at unbanning later.
Yeah,
I
mean, okay, that's also like quite interesting because I mean the one thing that I do like about Gold Farmer, and it's kind of the same thing I like about Kakugo, and I'm gonna lose all of my subscribers now. Is that it's an ice that doesn't care about strength. So like when people are worried about things like Turbine destroying the meta and everything like that, Gold Farmer doesn't care. Like you can install all the turbines you want in the world. This is still going to cost you X amount to break. In the state of Kakugo, that is a 1 net damage, and with Gold Farmer, it's like 2 credits, like plus whatever you would normally pay. And I quite like that. Now, would I still feel that way if I'm playing against like free Gold Farmer in every deck for a week on Jinteki net? Probably not. So I can see it from both sides, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I've been a subscriber of the philosophy that in between Worlds and Dawn, we should like unban 15 cards. So
I'm very
if we do
down with that.
Gold Farmer would definitely be among those.
Yeah,
but obviously that's a radical idea that I have no way to implement except by talking about it on.
If it's gonna like it could roll out for quite a while, and you know we're gonna be playing the same meta for a while. Like just pick 4 random cards and do it monthly. Like just unban another 4 cards each month until Dawn comes out, and then by the time Dawn comes out, we're all gonna be like, oh my gosh, we need normal Netrunner again, and then it'll feel great.
Yeah, you definitely need to include hired help in the randomization, because I mean, imagine how cool it would be to play a tournament with hired help.
I don't know.
Or the corpse. I'm in 2-for-1 every round, obviously, in that format. Still,
I was playing on JNet the week where you could play hired help and put it on HQ, and yeah, I was just like, well, how do I win? How do I do anything? And they're like, oh no, you don't. Oh, okay. They're like, do you have a political operative installed? No. Well, you can't install it now because you haven't run HQ. So good luck with that. Yeah.
Good time. Maybe some refinement to this idea is needed. But,
possibly. Okay, right. Sorry, but chat's gone off. Chat's popping off while we're talking, but we do have Pinhole now. Yeah, we can get rid of Hired. Like Pinhole lives, though Hired Help can live so that Pinhole can kill it. Right. We should play some games, and I think I did notice that wait, I might have to scroll up a fair bit here, or I'm sure. Oh yeah, Giat's popped into the chat and asked if we're an all-out Eternal team now. Yeah, you did miss the memo on that, Giat. We'll be exclusively playing Eternal in tiebreakers from henceforth.
You will be required to submit an Eternal deck by the end of the week,
Yeah.
and to those that are not up to par, get kicked out of the team. So
we're ready to delete your names off the playmat. Okay, let's. Oh, Jeff's applying. Okay, there's an amount of panic going on in chat right now. It's quite funny. Right. Shall we? I think we should probably. I should run first because we've just built this runner deck, and then we can see how. Sorry, Jeff's just built this runner deck, and we can see how badly it really does.
I selected my corp deck list before looking at your title, and I don't fancy my chances, but we'll give it a shot.
Okay, fine.
Unless maybe you've been bold in some aspects, and I have a chance. Who knows? We'll find it.
I think I've opened it up in tournament, and we'll just put WooTube live runner Eternal. There we go. Okay. Cold Lava asking if he steals Jess Ob, would you believe I built it? Just change one card, Cold Lava. That's all you have to do. Like put in. I don't know. You've got like 3,000 cards. Don't tell me you're on Blue Sun too. This is going to be hilarious. So this is going to be like just absolutely the most standard Eternal list that you can ever see. Blue Sun is now canon classic for Eternal apparently. So that's
going to need to get pointed soon, obviously.
Yeah. But this will be interesting because yes, I am also going to be playing Blue Sun today. Because I wanted to do something fun and original that no one else would see. I
think that one might also be a really bad matchup for me.
Am I keeping this? It's nearly good enough. Like I can install one of these cards, draw with it, and then potentially be good. But I really like having. I've got an overclock. I'm like tempted to keep my hand purely based on the fact that I've got an overclock, which I don't feel is correct, but I'm going to keep it.
Okay, I'm not going to complain about that.
It could all be a massive lie. I've got an absolute killer first hand.
Nice.
There we go. What do we have? We've got an Orion.
It's the classic. I'm assuming I didn't play this deck instead.
Okay. We've drawn some cards here. This is probably okay. Right. Which of these can I and should I play? I think it might just be. We decided that this is two. This is two. Yeah, I think Blue Sun is incredibly cool as well, me too. I hope we get it as well. Like or something similar, but it's a pretty hard one to like it's so unique. And then if I run here, do I die? Maybe. But I guess we've just got to find out. Who can remember the maths for this I can't, apparently. I think I've got enough.
10 is the muse number, and if it's not muse, you have
Yeah.
easier time.
Yeah. 10 is the muse number, isn't it? And this gives me exactly 10.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, there we go. And then we're going to get the tree. I nearly called this stream today. You can. I can't remember the quote. That's why I didn't call it this. So, what's the quote from Braveheart where he's like, "You can take our, is it lives? It's like you can take our lives, but you can never take our tree." That was what I was gonna call it. I think we get. No, it's got to be right to just get a coalescence here and get. Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's really fun. Yeah. Okay. Oh,
You're not
sure
dead,
thing,
so
yeah.
it can't be that fun.
Yeah, I've just seen the top card.
Yeah.
Meteor likes how Ag Infusion changes the way you think about the game. Yeah, and it especially changes the way that you just forget about Ag Infusion half the time. So, I've just seen the top card of R&D, which was a Typhonium, which was a card which was famously removed from the game because it was too busted. Like it destroys Arasana. And so they removed it to make Arasana playable.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to run here?
Find out about.
Steal an agenda and die.
That sounds like a great plan.
Yeah. I think I need to run and get some MU. So let's do that. We'll get a leprechaun. Oh no. Oh no. That's not good. That's really bad. So the answer was yes. Yes, I am gonna run, steal an agenda and die. Could have got a film critic just in case, but I was like, surely you don't have one yet.
I'm very on board with this plan.
Oh, tits. I've just drawn the film critic as well. Okay. Does this stop me from dying? Maybe. Probably not, though. You have like a gajillion credits. So I need money quick. So the best way of doing that is going to be...
Get up to 30 credits real quick by clicking 2 buttons.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Can I... Ooh, can I? Can I do this? I can't do this and this. That's a shame. Oh, and okay. So I was wondering about like entangling your Orion, but I can't even do that because it is a barrier. Like it has subtype barrier, so I can't entangle it.
You've been countered.
Well, that's annoying. Well, I can get up to 6 credits. I wonder if that saves me. Probably not. So let's see if a Plascrete saves me. Also, probably not.
Yeah, hopeful. Let's click the buttons.
Yeah.
Let's do a nice even 20 tags.
That does seem... I mean, I could boost 3 credits into this. I don't think it's worth it.
We'll do.
Oh, and you've got the pivot. Obviously.
Yeah.
Do I want to prevent any of the 52? I will prevent 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, you're getting close.
4, Now I just lose by
Um,
how many? Quite a lot. Okay, well, I had a burner in hand, so if I had a propeller, maybe like
so,
I might have been able to burner you here.
fun fact: I have a hand of double mid seasons, HPT, and pivot. So
Oh,
burner can't
shut up.
possibly do enough.
That's absolutely disgusting. Well, a good game's a quick game.
Yep, I've been on the receiving end of this as a World Tree deck, so it feels good to be on the other side.
Yeah. Let's just run the bin turn two, right? What's the absolute worst that can? I knew it was going to happen as well, but I was like, well, you don't, you don't, you can't have it all this turn.
Yeah. So
Apparently,
this
you
deck
can.
has 6 consulting visits. So
Oh,
it like
of
if you
course.
steal an agenda, it probably has it.
I'm on Film Critic is the most depressing thing. I should have just should have just read the sodding deck what you were going to try and do to me and just got the Film Critic like just in case. And then I'm probably okay. Right? Film Critic deals with mid-seasons. I think.
Yeah, yeah. I thought I had a 0% chance to win that matchup, but we had to scan it somehow. Um,
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna have to build servers of Tithoniums and like hope your deck didn't deal with that well. But
Yeah,
I'm not gonna complain about
I'm
that.
I'm not sure how I deal with a Typhonium because I
Oh,
can't remember. I think I can put a hush on it before it's rezzed.
yes.
And
A bit
then
harder if I'm oversight AIing it.
yeah. So if the hush is there before it's rezzed, then if it gets rezzed, then I can still host a Cipher on it, a Parasite on it. But if it's already rezzed and I can't even put the hush on it, so I would have to propeller through it, or I have no option.
Okay, I thought I was gonna be playing Tag Me Liza into this. And that would have been a pretty bad matchup, but apparently I prepared a max, so that lucked out of that one.
Okay. I wonder if I keep this. Typhonium is fair and balanced coming from chat.
If there's the 15 on bans, Tithonium is actually probably one of the cards that can't be on that list. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very.
It's so especially with like could you imagine like someone puts Typhonium in like a Stegodon deck, like reses it, like I mean you're just
Yeah, yeah.
it's so gross. This is very close to nearly being a keep, and I think it is a keep, and we just see what happens. I'm gonna keep it.
Uh,
Okay, so I'm against Max, so I've got to be wary of being doofed, or the worst one even. Um,
I mean, for you, they're both equally bad, right? So it's fine.
yeah, yeah, kind of. So I could draw first click. I will draw first click. Okay, that's fine. We'll do this, and we'll put this on HQ. I'm also like, obviously, I'm assuming that you're going to be on. Yeah, and I've seen a deja vu already. So we're going to be dealing with the clan. What is it? Clan Vengeance? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Uh, that is a card that wouldn't mess up your combos, yeah.
Meteor's wondering if Blue Sun would be too strong in the same game as Eminent Domain. I
In
mean,
standard, for sure. In Eternal, it's pretty tame. I do have Eminence in that deck, and it's very good. But
I was going to say, I also have Eminence, and there's one hell of a card in Blue Sun. There's also like a lot less. There's much less big ice at the moment. You have a Hive Mind. Oh my gosh, you're on Hive Mind Max.
Mm.
That's terrifying because that means you have. That means you have Botulus.
Mm-hmm. Shouldn't be a problem if you're on Tithonium, right? So
Yeah, I can't remember how many though.
Orbital.
What's the worst barrier face check in standard right now? Is it Boto or Bran? And I think like Boto is. Oh, that's good. Um, yeah, it's like Boto or technically Hagen at the wrong time. You know, like let's put this here. Put this here. Put this here.
Paper clip.
Typhonium would go in Eminent Domain decks as the most terrifying card ever. Yeah, 100%. Because if you could play like 2 Archer and 1 Typhonium, like Typhonium then deals with your whole like, haha, I've got a Phasalum, and you're like, well, I've got a Typhonium. Yeah, it's very scary. It's very scary ice. I just miss it because I used to play a lot of Jemison, and in fact still do.
Yeah, go on. We'll get some.
Oh, what have you got here? Fermenter. Okay. Like turn 1 cookbook as well? That seems disgusting.
I did draw it after the hive mind, so it's not the complete nuts.
Okay,
I'm not going to complain about anything. Um,
I'll allow
uh, you'll permit me, so.
it. Yeah. We've lost 1 Knobkiri as well. You're also on the full clone chip, simul chip, or like I would assume you're on 3 simul chip and 2 clone chip, because I think that's what I was trying. Because I actually found that simul chips were better than clone chips in this deck, but I don't know. I don't know how you have ended up. We'll find out.
Will be revealed later. There's some standard money. That can't hurt.
Ah, yeah, just the absolute bee's knees of money cards.
I don't think you can complain on 18 credit or 20 credits.
Yeah, it seems okay. Okay. Hmm. Think think we can afford to do this. Do I want to close off archives for any reason? Not yet. Maybe actually. Because if you put down a Knobkiri, I don't want you to be able to run. So
Rude.
this, we're going to oversight it, which is a bit scary, but we're going to put something in. Yeah, because how many actual subs it's got? It's got 3, because the other one is not a real one. You haven't shown one yet, but you will have 3 counters the minute that you show a Botulus. So I think we put this here. Good evening, Axu. Yeah, we're playing our eternal league game of the week because I wanted to see how Eternal World Tree Ari felt. And it's very tricky to say how Eternal World Tree Ari felt because I only got to play it for 2 turns before I died. So maybe we'll redo that deck against something else to see if we made any good or bad decisions because it's very hard to tell. The only bad decision we made was not getting a film critic out with like the first World Tree run. Yeah, that can be Eternal for you. Although that can just be standard right now as well, Okay. Augustus is 2/3 of the way through his deck so far.
Just the classics, you know?
Yeah.
Could do more. Uh, yeah, fuck it. Um, this seems ambitious to ever have a go through this ice. Um,
It does seem ambitious. If you have 8 to 10 hive mind counters, you might be all right.
mm-hmm. I'll get on it, I suppose.
What have you spent influence? What have you spent points on in this? Just Deja Vu and Rumor Mill, which are both seem like good cards here.
Yeah, and Blue Moose is the 6th, I guess.
Oh, and Amakua. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Do you think Rumor Mill does anything against Blue Sun? If I got it early, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can
Let's-
give too much away here.
Hmm. I'll get it back later.
Giat's kind of asking, but not. But I kind of now want to know, what do we reckon the like decking out max any percent speed run would be? How quickly do you think we could deck out max in Eternal?
Yeah, I mean, with
Pretty quick, right?
yeah, like we can like probably fill our entire deck with cards that say draw 4 or equivalent, and just use that.
So let's go. Let's draw a card.
It's like honestly to the point where max might not be the correct choice. You might just want to be a 40 card deck.
Do that, and then we'll do this. Meteor's asking, was Knobkery and Hivemind legal in the same format? And yes, they were. So if you search for a deck, I think it was just called Hivemind Max most of the time. But it was a deck which NWE really kind of I think they built the original, right? I think it was a pencil deck was the original Hivemind Max. And then it basically became the strongest deck for quite a while, but it was incredibly hard to play. You had so many lines. It was like the true epitome of like Shaper bullshit kickflips, but you were doing it in Anarch. And you had Hivemind along with like Amakua, which and a Knobkery. So once this Hivemind like gets up to a decent strength, then your Amakua just eats through all the ice. You had Conduit in there, so again, like when Hivemind had a load of counters on it, all of those counted towards Conduit as well. And it also meant that you had like these instant tranquilizers and things like that. And I slightly scared about the potential for there to be tranquilizer in here because I haven't seen enough inf for there not to be. So whenever you brought out a tranquilizer, it immediately de-res the ice, which it was seeing, which was like disgusting. And the idea was that you put this Hivemind on to a progenitor, which is this card here. And that would mean that you can't even purge out the Hivemind. So it would always have at least one counter on it, which is kind of all you needed for most of the time. But yeah, it's a very, very strong list in Standard. And it had like infinite imps and all of the good stuff for like completely locking down the corp. And would just get to the end of its deck very, very fast and then play Labor Rights. How would Hivemind Max fare against World Tree Woo in terms of complexity? Well, now there's a question. What do you think, Augustus?
Like they're kind of just both so complex that the like comparison doesn't really make much of a difference. Like you're gonna have to spend a lot of time grinding with either to get good with them. Um, like I suppose like the World Tree maybe has slightly easier time lines to learn because you always have access to all your tools, whereas Max, you're like, okay, what tools do I have for this current situation? And you have to solve based on those, not just your entire deck.
Mm.
It was like pretty comparable.
I wonder what's correct here. Trying to work out what you're capable of, and the answer is kind of everything. You're also on Parasite. How scared am I of Parasite? Reasonably. Yeah. Man, Parasite and Hive Mind's a bit disgusting, isn't it?
Uh huh.
God, never really quite thought about that because I've never really quite had to. Um, so I could purge. That feels pretty bad. Like you're pretty eager just to reset this hive mind onto a progenitor, I think. But then that potentially uses clone chips. Do I want to purge? That seems like a terrible idea. Hmm. So we might go. Oh, it's an exciting turn.
It's a big stack.
I'm trying to think about hive mind, like so standard hive mind max, which I have to cast my mind back a fair
Mhm.
amount to think about. I think the difference is that Hive Mind Max had more options. It had more it had more lines and options that were there during the run. As much as like Arasana is like a very powerful trigger. Like in World Tree Arasana decks, like you don't have like a ton of things in hand which you can like go, oh, I could install this, or I could install this, or I could install this to get past a piece of ice. You're normally like running a different server to get the thing that you need to get through the ice, unless you're gonna like muse out a Visalam Entangler, for example. Um, so I think that Max might have been the trickier one to play. That would be my read. Um, because I think you potentially had more like lines available to you, and so you could make more very different plays. Like, are you bringing back fermenters to get like a stupid amount of money? Are you focusing on getting your like rig set up? Are you going to run HQ? It looks like you are.
I was trying to run HP for a while, but
All right,
didn't
yeah,
try
yeah, fair.
to me.
Interestingly, the other day we found that a really good way around this is I will Resurhortum here. A good way around this is if you play a run event, then the lag seems to be massively improved. So, like, if you just always like if you import a copy of, I don't know, direct access or something, or find like a zero cost run event that kind of does nothing sort of, then that deals with the lag. Like someone was genuinely, we were playing the other day and they just kept pulling a dirty laundry back. You're letting. Oh, I can fire for a credit. Nice. How
You have
generous.
28 of them. I think you can have
Yeah,
another
yeah,
one.
yeah. Seems good.
Um, yes.
Um,
Sorry, somewhere here. Yep. I'm I'm hopefully not going to steal an agenda and die.
I mean, it's very hard to steal an agenda if you are going to be so rude as to put an impound.
Yeah.
That's
How
upsetting.
inconsiderate of me, really.
Very upsetting. Oh, that's an agenda.
It sure is.
I'd have quite liked to score that one.
Uh, I think it's time to click this button. And I definitely know what I'm clicking with this all the time, obviously. Who doesn't? Um, hmm.
Yeah, it's not like there's really any choice. I guess. Oh, there is a choice. Oh, it's disgusting. It's a disgusting choice. Oh, that's fun. Are you on levy?
uh,
You might be
I
on
don't know yet.
Ashen. Are you on Ashen? Could be on Ashen. Okay, so what do I need to do this turn? Some amount of things. Don't have many clicks to do that. Anyway, we're gonna like pull this back to hand because I don't want you to have the botulus. Interesting. I can't purge yet because it doesn't do anything here. Need to have a look in your bin. Okay.
It's going to be a complex one, this one.
Okay. So I wonder. There is an option here. No, it's very slow. It's very slow. So I think the best option is to do this here. We're going to put this here. And then we'll res it and draw two. And discard this card. Okay.
Okay. I'm 90% there isn't any programs left in my deck, but do you mind if I click SMC to double check?
You can, yeah, or you can just look at your stack and then shuffle it afterwards. I'm quite happy for you to do either way.
Yeah. Hold. All right. Jackson. What a card.
Yeah. And if you do anything that goes anywhere close to you getting one of your free rumor mills back, then I will have an action. Let's put it that way.
Understandable. Show me Horton.
Can you deal with a Horton right now? Kind of. I'm going to show you a curtain wall.
Yeah, that's a card. That's a card you can have.
Thank you very much. I will end the run 4 times.
Impressive. Oh. This one's the dice.
Hmm. Is this last click? This is last click. Big chance I just let you through here. There's a big chance I just let you through. How bad is it for me if I let you through? Quite bad if you pull a medium out. Have you got a medium in the bin? You have got a medium in the bin. You're going to see, if you pull a medium out, you're going to see 3 cards. Right? No, 4 cards. And you have an imp. I think I'm going to not let you through or make you deal with stuff.
Deal with stuff, he says. I'm fine with this status.
Okay. I'm going to do a mandatory draw without a blue sun trigger. And then I'm going to purge. And we'll discard one of these.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna find out what this is.
Okay. Now I need to actually consider whether I'm going to res it. Which I potentially should, because there's the whole like hive mind max. There's Nokari on a hive mind, plus you get an Amakua. I think I'll let you in here.
Slow rolling to send a message on archives as well.
We'll shuffle back in this SDS. That seems quite good.
So you're not trying to mid-seasons?
We'll shuffle back in this Jackson. And the building blocks. Oh, I told you what the face down was. Hopefully you just didn't hear.
Didn't you also play a building blocks? Yeah, no building. Oh, you told me that the face down was a Jackson.
Yeah, I might have told you what the face down was Jackson. There is an SDS in there though, so
that's cool.
We'll res this one.
And you're sure you can kill me here?
It's a real good question, isn't it? Oh, I missed a question earlier. Giat was asking if Blue Sun was a competitive ID in its heyday, and yes, I think Oversight AI, which was core set, right? So this would have been out at the same time, made it incredibly competitive. It was a very good punitive deck, like right from the start, because you could just get a ton of money very, very quickly, using Oversight AI um, and your ability. Plus, you could play some of the like most nutty barriers in the game. So, playing like 3 copies of Chiashi seems pretty good. Oh, and Grun DMC is in the chat. Hello, Grun DMC. I completely missed you. Apologies. Okay, we're getting a fermenter. Seems perfectly
I do need to
cocked.
get this plan. Seems better than trying other shenanigans. Does it matter?
Oh, it came out in Genesis cycle. Oh, it's essential. Like, when did Blue Sun? It came out before Blue Sun, most importantly, right? Like, Oversight AI
Oh,
was already a card when Blue
wait.
Sun came out.
I can't do math. What do
Or was Blue Sun? Blue Sun wasn't caught. I'm trying to read. I can't see the little things out. I can't see the little. Blue Sun came out in lunar cycle. That makes sense. It's on the moon. I should have just worked it out from the fact. You appear to have
I definitely
seven.
thought had an extra click, but we ignore that part.
You appear to have 17 credits. That seems like quite a lot of credits.
Yeah, I could have had 18. I don't think that's the difference between me dying and losing.
It's absolutely not, but that's absolutely fine. Might not be. Oops, I needed to click on this. It might not be the case that I'm actually trying to kill you. How wild would that be?
Somewhat.
We're going to put this here. We're going to put this here. And I think we'd take a credit. Lunar Cycle was when I enjoyed Netrunner the most. Back then, we all played bad decks at low level of play. Yeah, Lunar Cycle is like pretty bad in terms of the competitive level cards, or when you think about it now, also. Like everything was much lower level in terms of power level. Cold Lava saying Sanjay had a wild side event format at NamPC Philly. I got to play Asa and Blue Sun stapled together and was given an Oversight AI to slot into the deck. Asa and Blue Sun stapled together. That does sound wild. Will Rare's a Horton? So you could do like an Asa install, and then at the start of turn you could bring a piece of ice back to your hand and then do another Asa install. That's insane. But it sounds like a lot of fun.
Rude this Warden. Not allowed to do things like this to me.
Someone earlier pointed out that it was very funny to see Hortum as the choice of Kogate in this list, but Hortum actually pretty good in Eternal, like just as a potential answer to AIs, because AIs are everywhere.
I put Quandaries in mine, but Hortum's neat. Like, I don't know how many decks you completely lock out with a Hortum, but triple advance.
No, sometimes just enough. Like you can sort an Eater deck out like quite nicely. David is saying, as someone who started in the NSG years, Eternal is so very wacky, and oh yeah. I'll tell you what, David, have you played Chimera formats yet? Because like for true wackiness, Chimera is hilarious, um, and it's uh, and it's potentially like the best for like you're basically playing with a ton of cards, which are it's a randomly generated deck of like one-offs of like every card that's available in Netrunner, like with almost absolutely no cards banned because like there's no consistency. But it means that you're on a real even keel with whoever you're playing against because they've got this randomly generated deck of cards as well. And it's very, very fun. You have a lot of good times laughing about the ridiculousness of the decks which you have. I'm going to res another Horton
God damn it.
because it's just annoying enough for you to have to deal with. You can play Chimera by going to the website, which is... I should definitely know it. I will find it after this game. I will find the website. It's been like created by Charlie and Abraham, or Man in the Moon and Santa, and it's like a very, very funny. Like you'll have the most fun playing Netrunner, like because it's so wacky and bizarre. We're gonna pull this big old curtain wall back to hand. Any minute now. Yeah. Then we're gonna fire our Rashida. It's actually gonna probably leave me with too many cards in hand. How's that?
Noise is going to mill you out in no time.
I was gonna say, how's that noise working out for you?
There's a world where I realize this is a bad matchup and I just turn into noise on turn one and hope that that's fast enough. That seems ambitious.
Yeah, fair. Do I think you can deal? Yeah, you can. You've got watch this. Okay, so maybe we go like this goes here. I think this goes here. And we play one of these. And we throw out some cards, which is probably going to be this and one of these. Maybe this is a bad card right now. Yeah. All right. I've just realised you do not have backup breakers here, do you? You do not have bin breakers.
No. Eternal and Ice, I was told that wasn't a thing that people did. So
well,
need to figure things out as I go.
This is the exact reason why I'm playing this deck. And I had a pretty good game against Jeff. Actually, he put one hell of a fight up. He was on. It must have been Max as well. He was on like not DLR Max. He was on Clan Vengeance Max, and managed to contest a lot of. He played about 5 stim hacks, like, and happened to have. He had like one of each of the bin breakers, and so could deal with my Chiashis and things like that without having to go through it with Faust, which would have been a lot of cards. But yeah, it was. There was a turn where I nearly pushed against him and then decided that no, I was going to bait him into the remote server and managed to bait him into go and trash 2 things. Oh, he was Wizard. He was playing Wizard, not Max.
Well, I'm not playing Max anymore, so that seems fitting.
That is true. Okay, so
Eminent time.
here we get to score one of these. I will search and res a card, and then it depends on how funny we want to be. Because this is a good card we could get. Currently showing on screen. We can just get
I agree. It's a great
ourselves
card.
another one of these, which is not really worth it. We can get this, which is very funny thing to have on screen. This might actually be the one. This is also... actually, this is somewhat irrelevant now. Or we get this bad boy. I think we're going to get the funny one, which is this. We're going to put it on R&D. There's a big snake.
Nice.
And we need to throw away one card. One card. It might be this one. Oh, I forget you. Oh, you've milled a card. We can't throw away. We can't throw away this. I think it might be this, which is wild. Okay.
Well, here's my chance
Uh-oh.
to do some shenanigans. This whoredom has walled me, so I must go.
Okay. Yeah, maybe, like, I was tempted to put this Cloud Eater in front of HQ. Maybe that was more correct. That's fine. It can go in front of HQ next turn. The best thing now is that every face-down card after this turn is going to be a Cloud Eater. You do realise that, right?
I'll deal with that tomorrow.
This isn't strength, right?
But my Amakua has one.
Ah, okay. Okay, so you're breaking it with Amakua, and then it will be at strength. Nice. That's cool. It has gone. Hello, Wild Turtok. Yes, this is Blue Sun Cloud Eater Gaming at its best. Oh, I lost the Rashida. That was what I
got him.
Like, I just didn't really want to throw it out, and maybe I should have just thrown it out. Also, didn't think that you're gonna get into HQ, but I couldn't keep you
Too
up.
overconfident behind this.
Yeah, I think I'll manage.
No, it's probably time to do these shenanigans. Give us a little bit of a.
Okay, yeah, Deja Vu could be a problem. We see an Imp and a Botulus. Both of those cards are annoying. Imp gets installed. One card gets milled. Show me a Bagat. Go on. You know you want.
I would love it. A Bagat right about now.
And we're going back in. Ooh, that's a good card. That is a bit of a shame.
I mean, this Imp counter's
Ah, we've got Jai in the chat. Hello, Jai. Jai, one of the, I think 4 or maybe 5 people who wasn't put on blast by Whiteblade in their most recent episode. So yeah. Okay, this is interesting. Yeah, it has been a while since you've been up this early. You should surely be in bed. So, might need to protect HQ. I think I can keep you out of here. Hive Mind's up to 2 strength. can go like this on HQ. We'll put this on HQ. We're going to oversight this. This feels safe enough. It might not be.
Risking a 6 strength thing, huh? Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I haven't done the Parasite maths here. I've forgotten how good Parasite is.
Mhm.
So Parasite is going to come in with 2 strength.
3.
With 3. Does it come in with a counter?
No, cookbook gives it a counter. It doesn't.
Cookbook comes in with a counter. Yeah. So, sorry, it will come in with... So it will come in, it will reduce it by... Oh, it will reduce it by 1 because of a counter. 3 because of a hive minds. Potentially 4 if you make a run somewhere. Hive minds only once a turn, right? Like, I'm not being really dumb here. You can't... Knob careers once per turn. That's what I'm...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Not once per turn would be wild.
That would be fun.
If you have a cyber dex, I probably concede on the spot. Or I guess I could maybe get noise bills. But, would you just never have it, surely? Okay.
At least you don't get a turtle counter.
It's true.
There's a problem now. I might need to purge, but I can only purge if I've got some ice. Jai wants to know, for a friend who is going to Nats, what runners are good now post ban list? I think we both agree that it's probably Lat, right? Like,
I don't know. That seems like overhyped. That's bad, surely.
Like, Lat's pretty good against decks that want to kill you, and Lat's pretty good against decks that want to. Like, you can port a clot if you're worried about fast advance, and you can either just sit back and deep dive, or you can like trick shot them to death. Like, I feel like Lat's the safe but boring choice.
Oh, this is not new. So yeah, fuck it. We have to do some stuff.
Yeah,
this is
okay.
never.
Manuel is in chat, which I assume is Is that Manuel? Are you Manuel, as in Manuel, who's stayed with me and Augustus in Barcelona?
The very one.
If so, hello. What was I going to say? Manuel saying, "Well, just deny the breakers entirely with Merc." What I am really enjoying right now is the fact that... Oh, wait a bit. I've got to think about clone chip, parasite, nonsense. The fact that Mercury decks, at least, like, they seem to be doing quite well, and the ones which are doing well are the Divide and Conquer Mercury decks, which I made as a meme, and are now like wrecking shit. It's really quite great. It is that Manuel. Fantastic news. Manuel's pro kit with only 2 breakers. Yeah, no. If you're playing kit, don't do the like, I'm going to play double lobby. Double lobby is not correct. Like, trust me, because you'll spark into a second lobby and you'll be so sad when there's like an archer behind an ice wall. Going burr with Ryan's deep dive Sable does seem like an option. I think also, like, deep dive potentially is like a pretty good way of winning right now, because a lot of corps are ditching 3 points worth of agendas into archives or 6 points of agendas into archives as a way of being like, haha, there's 6 points in archives and now I'm going to punitive you. And if you run and steal 6 points and then deep dive them, you probably win the game. David says,
Difficult choice.
David says, as a building challenge in my local meta, I have to build a corp deck and a runner deck today using only System Gateway and System Update 2021. Oh, that's actually really fun. I love building System Gateway and Update only. I much prefer it to Startup as a format. You should probably build PD. It's really, really good. Or just like jammy BTL are both great. I really like Tau. Tau is System Gateway, yeah. I really like Tau. Like you can play free fermenters. You install them free with DZMZ. You've got like creatives and VRcations and all of that. Tau's really good. And I've played very janky Lou decks, but they're like much, much trickier. What's happening here? You are botulusing my curtain wall.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to do it to you. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, I get it.
London obviously calling out that Inversificator kit is correct. I can't completely disagree. I can't disagree with that because I think Inversificator kit is a hell of a lot of fun. And Centraling pointing out that Mad Dash stocks are quite high right now, and I would agree with that as well. Yeah, so if you can find like a Mad Dash, find yourself like a Mad Dash delivery system, you're probably doing pretty good stuff. Okay, how many cards do you see here?
A few.
As well as milling one off the top with noise.
Yeah, getting into archives is a task for someone else to figure out.
Noise being relevant. I mean, at least that means if getting into archives is hard, then it means that going to Omar was wrong. Manuel, I saw the new compiler. Cataloger card as the Mad Dash delivery. Yeah, I think it's a really good one. Definitely a good option. Oh, you trashed my Hollow Man. Very rude.
That's a rude card you're playing. You shouldn't be allowed.
Does that mean next turn I draw into a Trojan horse? Why are you trashing a scarcity? You've got no resources left to play.
Yes, I could have gone for ice. But not too confident in my in my long game here. How about look see?
Ellie here. I just like Hashiko because why not? Yeah, I mean Hashiko is still good. Like she'll have her doubters, but Hashiko is still good. Here I am just gonna immediately purge.
Sensible, sensible.
Any minute now, anyway. That's Patrick. Losing the Hollow Man really sucks because that means that things are going to be a bit slower.
Yeah, 12 cards in R&D. I can definitely install some viruses.
Yeah, you've got.
Some point.
Let's see what I think your hand is. It's probably two deja vus in the bin. Where are all your laborites? One of them must have gone by now. 1, 2. So it's probably still one laborites in hand. and multiple deja vus. The real big question here is: do I want to blue sun? I think the answer is no. That's fun. Manuel bought Essa and Asa, the streamer's nightmare, to Worlds, and while I want to play her more, or the more technically, making a new deck or changing it properly so shortly before dawn feels kind of bad. Oh, you got ages before dawn, man. Like ages. Oh, you can get in here. That's cheeky.
Cheeky.
Yeah, I think S is really good right now. Actually, that's a runner that should be on people's this Hiveman comes in with 2 counters. That's disgusting.
Not gonna lie, I probably would have done this last turn if I realized. I thought it was. This does give me an extra look.
No, you want. Yeah, I think you want the extra. You want the extra access here. Because here you're going to see. Wait, how many are you going to see? 3 or 4? I never know with medium. Medium's the better one, right?
I guess.
Oh, you trashed a Trojan horse. That's super relevant right now. I just shortly saw the card from Shaper that gives extra hand size. Don't look at it too hard, Manuel. Like, honestly. It's... Oh, actually, sorry. I'm looking at you. Although it probably means cutting the Synth Gland. Don't look at Synth Gland too hard. Synth Gland, there are so many better ways of gaining extra clicks right now. Synth Gland is not the right thing to play, I don't think.
I'm counting down the times until he tells us that he did better with this Synth Gland monstrosity than both of us. So
yeah. Okay.
That deck baffles me every time, though.
I have 7 cards left in R&D. It's really hard to work out what you're capable of because I kind of thought I had this wrapped up and you keep managing to sneak back in. So in the bin, we have 5 chips of various types. You still potentially have a labor rights, right? I've only seen 2 labor rights.
Yes, only 2.
Okay. Okay. All my eminent domains are gone.
Better not face check into that one.
You dare reject the Synth Gland. It got me top half. Yeah. Jai's thinking about just jamming some Boomerang Hosh, which I do quite like as an idea. I think that is solid. And yes, Sentient, I do actually agree. Hippocamping Mechanocytes for Essa is good. Even more so if you can find a sneaky way to charge it. Nerdism. Last stream, you were coping with no credits, and tonight you Scrooge McDuck all the creds. Yeah, I mean, Blue Sun does have its ways of making money. Manuel, I'm fairly sure that deck only had one banker, so I do have to agree. I barely knew what I was doing back then. Yes, yeah. If you weren't playing free banker, then you were doing something wrong. I think that can be quite safely said.
I'm not liking my position here, Chief.
Well,
I guess.
I mean, you shouldn't have been liking your position for the last 12 turns, but you've been doing all right.
No, let's go down to
That's interesting. You deja vu'd a Simulchip rather than a virus. Rather than two viruses.
Yeah, the situations were reduced to.
Intriguing. Okay. What do I trash here? I guess it's the Hive Mind. It's like always the Hive Mind, isn't it? I mean, it's just going to come back with the Simulchip, but it's got to be the Hive Mind for it to make any sense. Also, I think I was meant to Blue Sun here. Do you mind if I Blue Sun?
Yeah, go for it.
I will trash this. This is what I meant to Blue Sun.
Only makes sense.
No, I don't think Augustus is on Ashen Epilogue because I don't think he's got the influence for it. Unless this very last card, which he's been holding on to, is an Ashen Epilogue.
No, if I had any more recursion, I would have probably played it. It's some deduction would probably lead you to the fact that the last card in my hand is a Street Battler.
Right. I may not have deducted that.
Well,
and then what would take a credit? I guess maybe pulling. Maybe this Curtain Wall was fine. Maybe I should have pulled the Curtain Wall, which has a Botulus on it, back.
Oh wait, you've trashed the program. Okay, I'm not so much. Wait, fuck, that's actually real bad. I should have thought of this. You mind if I not?
Yeah, you can not trash your Simulchip. Yeah, that's fine. That's quite funny. I guess you're. Wait, are you on a single? Are you on a single Botulus in this deck?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Not for normal ice. Parasite is just so much better.
I mean,
for state strength ice, not so much.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
Do I have a window before my start of turn triggers?
I mean, there has been times when I've questioned your deck building before. This might be the biggest one.
Okay.
Quite often, I'm happy to take the high ground that you've made wise choices.
Yeah, so I'm in a Simulchip at the start of my turn.
Okay.
Before the runner turn begins. So that I can trash this. I don't know if it'll give me so I'm gonna
yeah. This. It's alright. You can just manual whatever needs doing, surely.
And the top card is gonna be a 3-pointer, and there's gonna be a thing that I can get. Easy.
Okay. I see it.
Easy as.
Yeah. What if this is the Tithonium?
I wasn't winning anyway.
You don't have a hive mind out, correct?
Yep. Not a question. Is there a 4 strength for 4 sub ice that I don't know
I mean, Janus 1.0 is a thing.
about? Wait,
Um,
not click through that one.
but if I don't res it, then you could just charge Turtle.
Oh. This tells me I've missed, so I probably GG go next.
So I'm gonna res it. Also, this means that I can potentially pull it back to hand if I want to, if that becomes a thing. Ellie says, Augustus, Manuel is definitely not laughing his butt off.
This is not the matchup I prepared for, all right, chat. I'll admit that freely. Surely, Manuel just can't win in 5 turns. It's that easy. Or not Manuel.
Yeah.
Ba can't win in 5.
London, I'm not totally sure Augustus does know that. So that's probably why that's not a thing. Oh, I should have thought
Funny,
about...
doesn't Cloud Eater just kill me? I missed there. Yeah.
Who said you can't score out behind ice in Eternal? I mean, I haven't won this game yet, so I like we shouldn't be saying too much.
You just have to wait until turn 17, and then you can score.
Yeah. Look, this is Glacier. Like, this is how Glacier plays.
You can have your Cloud Eater kill. Enjoy it. No, I'm gonna not play around this somehow being an NGO.
It would be wild if right now there were 4 cards left in R&D and they were all agendas and I didn't have something to push, right?
Yeah.
It's a snake!
We did it.
We get to trash something first. Let's trash the... we'll trash the...
Very important position.
We'll trash the Imakura. Just, yeah, there we go. So... the turn where you like pivoted R&D and I was like, I'm kind of scared, but equally my HQ right now is 3 copies of SDS, so I know where half of the agendas in my deck are. London's asking if you had considered running HQ twice on that turn rather than running Archives.
Oh, with the Botulus, you mean?
Yeah. So I think he's like, assuming it's a Cloud Eater, which I think you probably I think you had assumed that was the case. So you could break the trash one installed and 3 net damage. Oh no, but the on encounter probably stops you running back. I don't think you can run it twice. I think you can run it once.
Encounter, I just take tags on that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fine. You just end up with loads of tags, which doesn't matter.
But then why did you pull back the ice on HQ? If you have agendas there?
Because the remote is actually a bit shit. It's Hortum into border control, which doesn't potentially doesn't keep you out if you have like access to anything. And I just I don't know. I didn't want to like risk that, so I was like, if I put the curtain wall on the top, then I know I'm pretty safe to you getting through anything.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just like when you pulled it back from HQ, I was like assuming that you were waiting for the agendas or something like that. But yeah, would have been. It's like, I guess specifically because I get to run back twice, it's good.
Yeah, if it was, is there any chance? If it was Orion, you'd still get to run in once.
Yeah, like no matter what ice it is, I'd run in once. But like if I just get to if it was an Orion, I would much rather take an R&D access given how you've played, I think.
I guess there were also plenty of face downs in like although you would be seeing a couple of HQ, you'd milled at least 5 or 6 cards with noise by this point, right? Like,
Yeah, also.
you managed to mill, I think, like 3 copies of building blocks and 2 oversight IIs at a point in the game where they weren't relevant, which felt quite nice to me. But yeah, I was watching you slowly noise me out, and I was like, I wasn't feeling this noise install at first, but it suddenly did make sense.
Yeah, if I maybe have that idea slightly earlier, because I don't think that like rebirthing into noise is ever an actual line against most current eternal decks. They just go way too fast.
Yeah.
But in this matchup, I should have considered earlier.
London's pointing out that what you forgot to consider is that Bar was insane to leave HQ that week.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like in Eternal, you've got to make some insane plays, and sometimes they are just that. I wondered if me not bringing back the curtain wall on HQ was a too big a tell, because I just left it with the oversight AI there because I needed like an actual end to run, because Cloud Eater, if like I'd res the Cloud Eater, it would be like, oh, it's gonna hit you really hard, and then you're just gonna steal the win. So I had to be a bit careful.
Yeah, like the fact that they had an oversight, I don't think mattered towards the end. There wasn't any way for me to get through it.
Yeah. Well,
So,
it was 2 Blue
but the
Sun
money.
games which were almost identical in every way.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, a Cloud Eater on HQ. Damn, Bar is insane for leaving HQ this week. Yeah, I won the game though. So, um,
How much ice do you have left?
yeah, it
Okay.
like snakes are scary. Like it's like you still don't want to hit it unless you're pretty sure you're gonna win. Like this is this is uh this is a big face check and a
Also,
fun
what is
one.
all your influence on? Is it? Oh, Chiashi.
Yeah, it's on Chiashi. It was originally on 2 Cloud Eater, and I decided that was a bit much. So it's like 1 Cloud Eater, 1 Hollow Man, Chiashi, and Jackson's.
You're on pivots, but not consulting visit.
I'm on a single pivot
Oh,
because pivot's better than consulting visit because it's mainly there to get eminent domain. Like
it is very good at that.
yeah, it's like there to get eminent domain or maybe an oversight or a building blocks or something like in a if if needed. But like the idea is pivot for eminent domain, put eminent domain in the server, score out with eminent domain, gets what you know, get what makes the most sense, and go from there.
Yeah, what is your opponent going to do? Break a curtain wall on turn two? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Although, so I played this into ironically World Tree. It was Hill's World Tree Woo deck, which is about 200 cards now. It just keeps adding more, and it's still as consistent as ever. And he was on Cipher and Parasite. He had 2 World Trees down and was destroying 2 humongous pieces of ice every single turn, pretty much. It turns out you can't win against that. Like, if your whole plan is to like res pieces of big ice and then bring them back to hand, if they don't still exist the next turn, they're really bad. It was really bad.
yeah, like I was struggling to like break any of these. I think if I managed to like get ahead of you a bit and then parasite one of the big ones before you can get an economy going,
Yeah,
matches might be some close. But once I like I'm denied my virus counters, 6 is just way too much. Like there's no amount of math that has a parasite to kill that 6 strength ice
yeah.
from start of turn without you being able to like purge or something.
And I probably should be on like at least one. I probably should be on like a Cyberdex sandbox, or not Cyberdex sandbox, but a Cyberdex virus suite or something.
Yeah, it doesn't help against the Cipher, which is presumably the bigger threat.
Yeah. Also, I'm interestingly on 3 eminent domains when I thought the reason for me being on pivot was so that I could find the eminent domains. I guess I just.
You want to play 4 or 5 of that, sure.
Oh no, I'm on a Buffalo. Yeah. That's fine. It does make sense. The agenda suite does make some sense. Like, in my head anyway. A Buffalo's really good, so it's like worth it.
Get a blue moose that got me 20 credits that they couldn't spend on anything because I don't have breakers. Fun times.
I mean, this is why I was worried, because I was like, oh my gosh, you have like 1,000,000 credits. So once you've got access to paperclip, then I'm in real trouble. And then you'd got through your entire deck, and I was like, oh, you have gone for the like no one's playing ice strategy here.
Yeah, like I think the real threat to this max deck is like the fact that Eternal is just so damn fast. So I tried to like go as minimal as possible
Yeah,
on the end game stuff, and obviously was not wise for this matchup.
I think just a single paperclip is probably worth it, because I think there's enough people who currently are trying like big barrier ice decks. Like I've seen other people run it. Like I've seen people playing.
But why would you do big barriers instead of big other stuff? I don't get it.
Because I think the barriers are the better things. So like I've seen people on Acme, for instance, like, and like obviously you're gonna be on Data Ward, and same, I've seen like multiple people running multiple Chiashis. I know
Yeah, the problem is that those
Tehran's on
barriers
three
have much
Chiashi.
higher numbers because they need to against paperclip. Like I think against the breakers that people are using, it's probably better to just have a toll booth. That's what I spend my influence on in Blue Sun.
Yeah, Tollbooth is pretty nice,
Although Cloud Eater is a good.
until they put an entangler on it, and then you feel pretty bad.
Well, you bring it back to hand, and you haven't lost anything.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah, no, sorry, in Blue Sun. Yeah, I can see that. I can totally see that.
I
What?
wouldn't be happy to make that exchange, but it isn't. You don't.
Um, London wants to try playing the 200 card Eternal Woo in person and just try to shuffle it. I do not. like
Yeah,
not
I'll
only
pass.
shuffle it, but you're gonna shuffle it. Like, at least you're not on Lily Pad in that deck, so you don't have to like shuffle it after you've installed every program. But you're gonna end up shuffling it like twice or three times a turn. That's the ultimate. Do not put down your deck. Oh, look at that! We've managed to get it to the point where the game will time out within 30 seconds. Um, right. With that, any last thoughts? Obviously, you'll be at Cambridge Regionals.
Yeah,
I unfortunately can't make Cambridge, but I will be at Sheffield, which you won't be. Um,
I'll also be at Italian nationals. If anyone's gonna try to take my prize away from me.
Italian, that is, Augustus is going to go do the double in Italy.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's on the table, and then polish off the season with a win at UK Nats.
Well, words first, and then.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. Okay. So you can win worlds, and then you can win the real main event of the
Yeah, exactly.
calendar. Um,
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna keep my deck secret at Worlds, so just so I can be maximally prepared for UK Nats.
Absolutely. I heard the most hilarious thing, which I absolutely agree with, which was, I think, when you won Aldershot regionals, and someone reached out to you to check if you already had a ticket for UK Nats, because obviously you get one through winning regionals, and you said you hadn't bought one yet because you just assumed you'd win one, which I'll tell you what, out of almost anyone else, I'd say, that's like a really arsey statement.
I
But
didn't say
we,
assume
okay, all right, fair enough. But we all went, yeah, but that is fair enough. Like, like
I
essentially,
definitely
we knew.
delayed buying one just to make the logistics easier. But I would have bought one if I had. There was time.
Yeah. Okay. Um. So I'm just trying to work out what Manuel's saying here. I'm not too sure. Um. But yeah, I was like, yeah. To be fair, he's going to at least 3 or 4 of them. Like, he's gonna win one of them. We all know he's gonna win one of them. So we're all good. Um. But yeah. Um. Any shout outs before we disappear off into the ether?
Shout outs to the tiebreakers for being awesome, and White Blade for definitely knowing who we are.
Yeah. Maybe we should talk more about Whiteblade another time. But yeah, yeah. Sorry. Shout out to Jai. Like I mentioned, one of the only about 5 people on the planet who Whiteblade knows and respects. So congratulations to that. Jai says winning is fun, and that is coming from I think the player of the year. Correct. That's what we've decided. Jai, player of the year. So yeah, top beans aficionado. Thank you everyone for joining us in chat today and watching us play some very, very, very silly Eternal decks, or at least watching us play one of the games and being mere flies on the wall for the other game. Oh, that's the vibe I got from Whiteblade Jai. Like he like basically he looked through the entire tiebreakers list of names and went, "Oh, they've got Jai. He's good." Yeah. Join us next week when I'll be, I don't know, building Fule, possibly. We'll find out. Thanks everyone, and until next time, ciao for now.